Hey guys, Joshy back again, BJ on Game Day, ready for another episode of the team previews. And this time up, we've got the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, obviously, the Doggies there last year had probably a very up and down season. It was the first season under their coach of Dean Pay, and he managed to frustrate a lot of super coaches with a lot of his team selections week in, week out. None more so than Reece Martin towards the start of the season. Not getting any minutes, basically not even getting any game time, playing reserve grade. I mean, this was obviously a Papua New Guinean international, a fantastic Supercoach player in years gone past, and he just couldn't get a spot. So he's found himself over in the UK and playing some good footy, and one we will definitely miss. But look, the Doggies, it's probably been one of my commandments over the past few years that never pick a Bulldogs player. Obviously, Reece Martin was the exception, but it was just... they were just never a team that would attack very well. And obviously in Supercoach, they really do promote attacking and those kinds of stats. So I really could never sort of look around the team and think, I want that player. Will Hopewadi was someone you could always sort of bank on. But unfortunately, price-wise, he was always sort of in that 500K range. And, you just always had that second thought about him. But if we jump onto the NRL.com prediction list for round one, we'll see Dallin Watene-Zelezniak there at the fullback position, Nick Meaney on the wing. Now, obviously, Nick Meaney had the fullback position until DWZ came across from the Penrith Panthers. But, look, they look good there at the back together. I'm a big fan of Remus Smith at the number 4. Now, he's probably one I'd prefer him in the wing spot. Obviously, with those kick returns, try-scoring opportunities, your wingers tend to score that little bit more than the centres. And Remus has probably proven himself over the years to not be as active when the ball doesn't come to him. You really want players to go searching for the ball. Look, it's a little bit of a danger one there. He's around about that 350K, as is Nick Meaney. I think they're both good opportunities to make a little bit of cash. But, probably wait and see. As I say, I'll sort of tend to steer clear of the Doggies players for Supercoach. Ockenbaugh had a huge season last year. Obviously started the season very, very cheap. Made a lot of money for people. Unfortunately went down injured for a big time of the year. But it was great to see him early in the season when he got his chance to put Cameron Smith on his ass when he ran over him twice in one game. Look, in the halves, we've got Jack Cogger and Lachlan Lewis. Now, obviously with Kieran Foran out long term, there's a little bit of a three-way tussle for the 6 and 7 there at the Doggies. You've got Jack Cogger, you've got Lachlan Lewis, and as you can see there, down in the others, right at the bottom, you've got Brandon Wakeham. Now, I'd actually have, it's probably hard to say that. I was going to say I'd have Brandon Wakeham in, but Jack Cogger's probably proven himself through his time at the Knights and now at the Doggies that he is a good player. And Lachlan Lewis, while he looks a little bit unconventional, at times his defence has just been absolutely huge. So he really sort of takes those... I guess in your games, your second row is really trying to attack your halves. Some of those games last year, one against Semi Burgess and South comes to mind, where he absolutely just drilled Semi a couple of times. So very, very good defending half there. When we move into the front row now, Aidan Tolman, long-time gun in Supercoach, very, very consistent. Last year, just sort of averaged that 58 to 60 week in, week out. I think his low score might have been about 40. And his high score might have been about 75. You're really not going to see too much outside of that. He's just that sort of, ultimate workhorse. Offloads occasionally, but you're never really going to get a line break out of him. You're never going to get a try. You're going to get about 20 to 25 points worth out of hit-ups and probably about 35 to 40 tackles. So does generally play around that sort of 55 to 60 minutes. So pretty much 1 point per minute kind of player. Dylan Napa, look, Dylan Napa is probably one of those guys that falls into the category where a lot of people rate him in the NRL. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people do. But he just doesn't transition that over to Supercoach points. Last year he had a couple of good games and he was fairly cheap. So a lot of people had him in their teams, but then he went down with a bit of an injury. So, again, one I sort of tend to stick clear of. Corey Harawira-Naera, now he had a fantastic season last year. Really got that opportunity, probably at the expense of Reece Martin. He was the one that really sort of took that starting spot and made it his own. playing on that right-hand side for the Doggies. Look, he looked fantastic, Harawira-Naera. He's priced around about 560k. Attacking-wise, he's got plenty of upside. It's probably just in defence where he needs to, I guess, just to shore up a few things, a few missed tackles here and there, and some lost points there. But definitely one you can keep an eye on. I just think at this stage of the season, if I'm going to look for a keeper in that 550 to 600 range, there's probably other ways that I'll look about it. The bench is probably where it gets a little bit interesting for the NRL.com team. Now, obviously, this was published a couple of weeks ago because number 15 there, Raymond Fatala-Mariner, will not be starting in round one. He's got the dreaded syndesmosis, and he's gone and had surgery on his ankle for that. So he will be out for probably about 8 to 10 weeks. Maybe a little bit longer, and we'll probably see him around round 7 or 8. 2 seasons ago, 2018, RFM was absolutely huge for the Doggies. Brilliant at Supercoach, a lot of points then. Dean Pay came on board, and he was another one that actually got, I guess, lost ground from the starting 13 alongside Reece Martin. Now, found himself on the bench more often than not, but he proved himself in 2018 that he was an 80-minute player, 80-minute second rower, and was brilliant in attack, brilliant in defence. I really can't see Adam Elliott getting the spot ahead of him, but obviously with him injured, we'll just have to wait and see when he gets the chance to come back. Now, Joey Stimson signed on with the Doggies. He's come up from the Melbourne Storm, but one thing I hate is actually players leaving the Melbourne Storm. Whenever they've gone to other clubs, they just don't have the same effect. There's something about the culture down there, the environment, the camp that Craig Bellamy's created. These guys are just better players in Melbourne under his tutelage. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how Stimson goes. I know there's a few people I've seen with him in their teams, but I will be avoiding. One player I actually made one of my pods last year. We're going to do a pod video in the next couple of weeks, which is where we pick one player out of each team that we think will be a little bit of a point of difference. So not too high ownership, definitely under 10%. But that we could make some cash or become a keeper in the future. Now, 2019, Renouf Tumunga was my pick for the Doggies. Unfortunately, just didn't get the game time. Really with Harawira-Naera coming on board, I thought he might have still been a chance for a bench spot and to push himself into the starting squad. As you can see there, he's in the squad here, in the predicted team. But again, I'm not too confident that he's going to make the 17 with a couple of others that they've got there. So, look, we'll wait and see. Suiaso Su, who's on the others list there, I think he's probably ahead of him, and maybe Ofahiki Ogden. So we'll wait and see. Chris Smith had plenty of game time in first grade last year as well. So definitely they're probably going to have to train really well to force themselves onto that bench spot and see who gets that come round one. Now, as you can see there in the others, there's a few players there that a lot of people look at. Marcelo Montoya might actually force himself in the starting squad. Kerrod Holland has played plenty at hooker and in the centres, but he'll probably just play in Canterbury Cup for now. And Morgan Harper's another cheapie that a lot of people looked at last year. Unfortunately, didn't get his chance in first grade, but will be, again, vying for one of those centre spots. If you can kick Remus onto the wing, Ockenball misses out, he might find himself in the centres. Let's move on to the draw for the Doggies. Now, obviously, with the Doggies is a little bit hard. We never really know what to expect from a team like this. Bogan and I actually discussed a little bit before this episode, and we really saw the last 6 to 7 rounds of the season last year, the Dogs step up, and maybe that was just what Dean Pay had sort of been expecting. Maybe it just took the team a little bit of a while to, I guess, transform under his coaching leadership. But time will tell. They start off the season not too bad. Obviously, they got the Eels first up there, but then a couple of okay games there with the Cowboys and the Tigers. But look, we'll see how they go. They've got the round 16 bye. So as we sort of mentioned with the Titans and with the Dragons, a couple of other teams there down the bottom 8, a lot of those lower teams have the bye in round 16. So anyone who's chasing bye points and things like that will have to assess that, because round 16 will probably be where you have a lot of players from all the top teams. Set us up actually pretty nice for the run home. But that's it, guys, for the Doggies. Now, the next episode will be Brent. Brent's going to jump on board with the Newcastle Knights. So we just thought we'd give him the chance to jump on board and give you his take on a few players from the Knights. obviously he's going to know a lot more depth about those players and their backgrounds and things like that. So check out that one. It'll be up in the next couple of days after this one, and we'll catch you all for the next episode. Cheers. Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day, and on Twitter we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.